Pemirsa, pembangunan pembangkit listrik tenaga surya sering mengundang pro dan kontra dari komunitas sekitar karena banyak warga menganggap bahwa mengganggu pandangan. Tapi begitu beroperasi fasilitas pembangkit listrik ternyata membawa berkah bagi kota-kota kecil dan desa sekitar di Illinois.
Daerah Ford County di negara bagian Illinois dari dulu adalah pusat agrikultur. Tapi belasan tahun belakangan, wilayah ini semakin dipenuhi turbin angin untuk pembangkit listrik tenaga bayu. Bagi layanan umum setempat, kehadiran turbin angin ini meningkatkan signifikan pemasukan pajak.
After they was up and operating, we got an additional $42,000 the following year, and to this date, we're still receiving money from the windmills.
Menurut pantauan kantor berita Associated Press, pembangkit listrik tenaga angin kini menjadi penyumbang terbesar pajak di banyak wilayah pedesaan, tak hanya di Illinois, tapi juga Iowa dan Nebraska.
I think it was a big uplift for all of us to realize, well, some people may not like to look at them, but we love what it's doing for, it's benefiting people, and it's also benefiting us through the taxes, because it takes a lot to make a fire department operate.
Distrik sekolah Tri-Point di Ford County juga mendapat suntikan dana $900,000 setahun, yang merupakan sekitar 15% pemasukan sekolah.
These new additional funds were coming in. Those decisions didn't have to be made anymore. We could take back those sports. We could add in staff members again. We've added interventionists. We can afford a resource officer.
Tak hanya kegiatan belajar mengajar yang terangkat, kualitas hidup warga secara umum juga meningkat.
For us, it's made a huge difference. These towns wouldn't be here. These towns just wouldn't be here like they are. The economy would not be here like it is. We are the major employer in the district besides agriculture. And we just simply wouldn't have these jobs in this district. People would go elsewhere, and I don't think they would settle here with their kids.
Salah satu warga sekitar yang akhirnya mendapat kesempatan kerja dari turbin angin adalah seorang mahasiswa Danville Area Community College. Di kota, hanya 1 jam perjalanan menggunakan mobil dari Ford County.
And we have a wind farm that's super close. There's a few of them actually. I think there's 3 or 4 within 20, 30 miles of here. So it really opens the door for people around here for jobs and stuff. They're kind of controversial. Some people don't like them, but I think they're awesome to look at. They're really cool just driving by them every day thinking, I'm going to be up on top of those here soon. So I'm working on them and getting people clean energy, helping the environment.
Tapi pembangunan panel surya, turbin angin dan semacamnya sering memunculkan resistensi di tingkat lokal, baik dari warga maupun dari pejabat lokal, setidaknya pada fase-fase awal. Penelitian oleh Columbia University misalnya menunjukkan bahwa restriksi tingkat lokal untuk proyek tenaga surya atau tenaga bayu dan semacamnya meningkat sekitar 73% dibandingkan tahun sebelumnya. Dari Washington DC, saya Nova Purwadi dan tim VOA.
Puluhan peternakan sapi perah di belasan negara bagian Amerika Serikat melaporkan kasus flu burung. Bahkan 4 pekerja peternakan sapi sempat terinfeksi. Sementara itu peneliti terus memantau penularan antar spesies itu dan memanfaatkan teknologi melawan COVID untuk mengembangkan vaksin baru penangkal flu burung.
Sepintas tampak seperti peternakan sapi perah biasa, tapi fasilitas di kota Ames, negara bagian Iowa ini adalah pusat studi penyakit hewan nasional dikelola Departemen Pertanian Amerika Serikat. Fokus penelitian belakangan ini adalah flu burung H5N1.
This avian influenza virus, which would normally stay in birds, has gone into more than 20 different mammalian species, more than 100 times in 2 years. So this group of viruses don't know exactly what it is, but it has the capacity to cross the species boundary. And in this case, it crossed from wild birds into dairy cattle, and then because of agricultural animal movement, it has really spread through the dairy cattle industry.
Peneliti melihat respons kekebalan tubuh sapi melawan virus flu burung.
We do not know nearly enough about how this virus is transmitted among animals. That's why what we're doing right now is really important. So we are evaluating the spread on milking equipment, but then we definitely need to consider some other avenues too. So kind of more of a traditional commingling, what happens.
Vaksinasi melawan flu burung telah lama dikembangkan untuk unggas, tapi tidak untuk sapi.
The risk to humans is low, but it's certainly not zero. And the more opportunity we give this virus to grow in different hosts, to be subjected to different environments, this is a virus, this is a flu virus, what viruses do best, they change.
Tapi pelajaran dari pandemi virus corona COVID-19 juga digunakan untuk mencegah penularan H5N1 kepada non-unggas. Peneliti mengembangkan vaksin RNA duta, mirip vaksin Moderna.
Were actually to use that same technology that was used essentially to make a COVID vaccine, but instead of it expressing the SARS coronavirus antigens, it was expressing flu antigens.
Vaksin RNA duta ini telah berhasil diuji coba ke satwa lainnya dan baru dicoba pada sapi.
So we vaccinated 10 calves, 5 at a lower dose and 5 at a higher dose. And the first question we had was just whether their vaccine would immunize the cattle as a species, because no one had tested it in bovine before. The vaccination phase is over. We're looking for those immune responses to the mRNA vaccine now.
Selain vaksin yang tengah diteliti di Iowa, Departemen Pertanian Amerika Serikat mencatat ada sekitar 24 perusahaan yang sedang mengembangkan vaksin flu burung untuk digunakan terhadap sapi ternak. Tapi pengembangan vaksin ini memerlukan waktu beberapa bulan atau bahkan beberapa tahun lagi. Dari Washington DC, saya Nova Purwadi dan tim VOA.